Hi everybody, welcome to TalksWithKellsPODCAST. This is your boy, Themba Kells, the famous guy at Ratanda, the most handsome guy at Ratanda, the most smartest guy at Ratanda. I'm kidding. Again, we are back. Episode number 27. And we have Sibusiso. Is it Laz or Laz?
Laz.
Sorry?
Laz.
Laz.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Sibusiso Laz Radebe. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm okay. There's a lot to talk about. First time seeing you.
Yeah.
Very, very pleased. Don't I senglethe 3 abantu wasebhafu. And the number is going to keep escalating. I think they are more receptive to what we are doing. Yeah, but he's the third person. Are you okay though?
No, I'm good, man.
Not
Can't
nervous?
complain. No. Thought I would be, but I'm not.
What do you think I have under my sleeves? Because you know the podcast, Moss. You know the podcast.
Nothing you have under your sleeve can shock me.
Okay. Are you sure?
I'm very shocked.
Yeah.
I'm not easily shocked.
You're not easily shocked. Sure. Tell me how is your experience so far in Bilo in general?
Sure. Okay.
Not what you expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just want to get a perspective in Bilo so far.
Okay. So I think life gets tricky
Yeah.
once you get past the age of 25.
Okay.
It gets tricky. I think 25 is the trickiest age to be in. But once you get past that, I think you can handle anything. Because of expectations.
Yeah.
Either from yourself or from society. Especially as a man.
Okay.
You know, you're expected to have your life together at certain ages.
Sure.
And if that doesn't happen, then it gets a bit tricky. Good to know what's your plan. You start getting questions. What are you planning to do with your life? What's going on? For instance, I started my bachelor's degree when I was 26.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So prior to that, I went to university at 18.
All right.
But
Uma
didn't finish.
silizwe isdomi
No.
scale. Ilizwe is smart.
No. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I finished my matric at 17, 18. I was at University of Free State.
Okay.
At Kwakwa campus.
Yeah.
Then I realized that actually this is not what I want.
At the age of
18.
18.
Yes.
You were that smart.
I guess.
Because we had a conversation this one with sometimes you would be sure of a certain career of which you are choosing and get to a point with something like 2 years down the line and you're like, oh no, actually this is not what I need.
Yeah, true. So thing is, I was good at accounting at school.
Okay.
Right. So the assumption was that then the logical path to take is to go and do a BCom accounting because you are good at accounting.
Okay.
And then fast forward, then go to UOFs and then get there, find that at that particular campus they don't have BCom accounting, they only have BCom general management.
Okay.
And then accounting was offered in Bloemfontein at the main campus. I couldn't afford to go to Bloemfontein.
Okay.
So, but general management had accounting in it.
Okay.
So when I did that, I realized that actually, I don't think this is, I'm smart enough to master this thing, but it's not my passion.
It's not your passion.
Yeah, it's not where I want to go, And then at the end of the first year, I dropped out.
Okay.
But
you do fall, sorry to interrupt, you do fall under the category of dropout somehow.
Yeah.
As smart as you are. As smart as you are.
I dropped out with a degree.
You dropped out with a degree. Okay, now I'm getting it. Yeah, now I'm getting it. Yeah, not just any dropout. Lovely. That's the message. A dropout with a degree.
Yeah,
Take the notes, guys. Yeah.
Yes. So, and then, fine. And then my plan now, after I drop out of UOFs, is to go to UJ.
Okay.
But now, problem is, I dropped out at the end of the year. At this time, I'm smart, but I'm not smart enough to actually know the application periods.
Okay.
You know. So, and then the following year, obviously, I can't just rock up at UJ.
That's true.
This is like 2006. Those stunts of just rocking up in January were not popular.
Hey, you've been around, eh? 2006, I was barely walking. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
True. So, and then that year, I basically take like sort of a gap year.
Okay.
I always tell people I had a 9-year gap year. Because that's how long it took me to get back to university.
Whoa, the fuck?
Yeah. And then in between all of that, then, you know, get a job, get a taste of money.
Get a taste of money. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
Get to feel a bit independent. I think I had my first job at 19. Yeah.
Oh,
my first job at 19. And then, you know, pushed, but it wasn't anything stable.
Okay.
Got contract jobs there and all of that. Worked a few companies, worked at Blue Skies, worked as a contractor, worked at a youth center.
Yes.
I think my passion for working with people then kind of solidified when I started working at the youth center. So I started out as a board member at a youth center. We had a youth center, well, it's still there. It's Themba at Ghetto.
All right.
So, but I kind of got coincidentally involved because I was friends with the guy that was a chairperson there at the youth center. And then there was a bit of...
what do they call it?
Themba Youth Center.
No, like when you are friends with someone and then you get through...
Oh, nepotism.
Nepotism.
No.
It's one of my connection now, guys.
No, I believe they call it networking.
Corporate, yeah. But yeah, no, it's lovely,
Yes.
man. Yeah.
So, and then some commotion happens with the board. Barely 3 months into the youth center being established. And then they have to fire a few people. And then it's like, are you guys interested in joining the board? And I'm like, okay, fine. I don't mind doing that. Then I joined the board for about 2-3 years. Then from there, then I resigned as a board member, then worked for the youth center. I think for less than a year.
You got paid?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
How much?
That wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot. Thing is, with youth centers, you are more of a volunteer than an employee.
But most of the time, I think if someone like they're not being paid that much, they say, I'm paid 1,000. So you know when someone says, it wasn't a lot, it was actually a lot.
No, it actually wasn't a lot. It was less than 5K.
But it was something.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't have to travel to work. I didn't have to rent and all of that. So it covered basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Then somewhere in the midst of doing that job, I realized, I can't do this for life. I can't continue like this. I need a proper qualification to be able to have to stand a chance to make something of myself.
Sure.
So I throw applications around, apply, and my thinking is I need to be as far away from home as possible.
Okay.
So then I applied to UWC, I applied to UCT, I applied to UKZA. And then I get accepted to all three. At this point, I don't even know that UWC is in Cape Town.
Okay.
And then, but I accept the UCT acceptance, right? Go there. When they say ignorance is bliss, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it is bliss.
Sorry.
Because I survived my first year without the pressures of... When I got to UCT, I didn't know it was the #1 university in Africa. That wasn't the priority when I applied there. the priority was that I need to be far away from home because I knew if I was going to be close to home, I was going to travel home often and I wasn't going to focus on my studies. Because at that time I was the youth chairperson at church, I was in the worship team, I was doing all of those things. So I knew if Bengzoba Setus and Sakai, then that meant every weekend I had to perform those duties. And then I knew my studies were concerned. So that was the main motivation for being far away from home as possible. Yeah. So yeah, get to UCT, spend the whole year. I have no idea what I'm in this big deal type of place, and that helped me because then I didn't have the pressure of now, oh my word, I'm at like the biggest institution in Africa, and now I need to perform a certain way. I just had to be myself
and give it your best.
At my best, you know.
Okay, cool.
So by the time I found out or realized, I was already comfortable enough in my academics to not have that pressure. You know? So that's why I'm saying ignorance sometimes is definitely not all the time. You know, yeah. So so that has been kind of my experience of life, and realizing that you, as a man especially, you need to have a plan. You need to have, at the very least, your own personal space in order. It doesn't have to look like you have yourself in order to other people, but at least yourself. You must be organized.
What are the disadvantages of a man at the age of 25? Let's say age of 25 to 35 years old, seemingly not having a plan, or as other people may perceive. What are the disadvantages?
So the disadvantages, one is to pressurize yourself according to people's perceptions of you. You are the one who lives the life that you live, and no one else.
No one else,
So God didn't give the life to someone else, He gave it to you. So then don't pressurize yourself according to other people's standards. I think the only pressure you can have is from your own plan and your own standards. And the only person pressurizing you should be you and not other people. So if you don't have a car by the age of 35, so what?
Hey, what's up?
If you don't have a house by the age of 35, so what?
You can't say if you don't have a car by the age of 35, so what?
So
I can a bit, and this is from the individual perspective.
Okay.
I can a bit say if you don't have a house at the age of 35, so what? But not a car.
Why not?
Basically, I need a man also make 18, baby, I'm outside. And Tina Singapore Johnny Walker, basically, I feel like that's the pressure most men have, more than acquiring a house. And I'm not saying a house is not an asset, but I think, again, our values are misplaced. I'm told. So that you would acquire a car, yes, you need to drive, yes, you need a car. Then find someone else who they actually do not need a car, but they'll buy a house first. It's what you can work with currently. But most of the time, I take a car first, bro. I take a car first and pass the whole phase. God. So that when I'm a bit matured, like I know, but now I'm stable to have a home. But that's just me. That's just me.
Our priorities are obviously
different,
not the same. I honestly do not have a pressure of buying a car.
But you can afford one, I can tell.
I don't have that pressure.
But you can afford one.
So for me personally, literally all of my friends have cars, and I've never had that pressure because my friends have cars. Now I need to buy, and to fit in and all of those things. I've never been that type of person, to have peer pressure. Peer pressure has never been something that defines who I am. Hence I could go and study a whole degree at 26 and not feel that somehow awkward, or, you know, feel like, oh, I'm feeling shile, you know, and all of those things. You know, I mean, I was in lectures with 18-year-olds as a 26-year-old, and there's not a single day where I felt that, because I knew what I was there for.
So you say you believe that your mindset is elite?
Basically, I would say that, because if your mindset is to bow down to the pressures that others put on you, then that means, for lack of a better word, you have a weak mindset, or you have at the very least, you have a weak sense of self. Because if you don't have a weak sense of self, then what others say about you, what others think about you, doesn't really move you.
Shit. Now I'm trying to process. Don't mind me. I'm trying to process.
Take your time.
And then, if you understand one thing, how did you get to the world of becoming an author, a speaker, an entrepreneur, but first an author? First an author.
Yeah. Okay. The whole author thing, I think, mostly came from my Facebook posts.
Okay, but I'm not an author, but yeah.
Yeah, mostly from my Facebook posts and the thoughts that I would mostly share on my Facebook account about most of the things I observe about the society that we live in.
Okay.
The way we relate, for instance, as the different genders.
Okay.
The way we...
I want to ask you something now that you've mentioned genders. Yeah. No, you can get it.
You know, the way we pressurize ourselves and others into certain things. Like in my book, I also mentioned this thing of, you know, age norms.
Conversation with my peers.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You
That's the only book.
Yeah, so far.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I'm busy with the second one.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So, like the age norms, by 25 you should be married, or by 25 you should have a car or a house, or by this age you should have this and this and that, you know, and other things. You know, I talk about race relations in this country, you know, the state of our politics.
Okay.
So those are some of the topics that I discuss in the book. But mainly it would be something that I would rant about on Facebook, and then you get people saying, but you should write a book, you should write a book. And then around 2016, I started the process of writing that book. And when I started, then it had a very different title to what it finally became.
Okay.
I think the initial title was On Blackness.
Okay.
Yeah. Because primarily the topics and the conversations that I was having in my head and with friends offline was mostly around the black condition.
Okay.
And the condition of us as black people, and how we relate to each other, and how we do things, and how we frame our society.
All right.
So that was the initial title, but then eventually when I finally decided to publish it, I decided, no, actually that title is too limiting.
When was it published?
In 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Massive, man. Lovely. I think we should have a copy.
Yeah.
How much?
It's 180.
180.
Yeah.
Okay, that's expensive. And then speaker?
Okay. I've always been a speaker.
You've always been a speaker.
Yeah, I've always been a speaker. Whether it's a church, whether, you know, people at events want someone to come and address a particular topic and all of that. So, but it's not been something that I've added to my profile until the whole author thing.
Okay.
Then I realized, okay, this kind of goes together as a package, so might as well add it to my profile. But I've always been someone who loves tackling topics. For some reason, I have a love-hate relationship with public speaking.
Why?
I don't know. I always get nervous. When it comes to being in front of people, I prefer to rather sing than speak.
Oh.
You know.
Okay.
So, because speaking makes me nervous. You know, makes me nervous because...
But now you're not nervous. But it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
I've always said, and I think my friends have accepted my craziness, but I've always said that for me, if it was possible to preach sitting down, I think I would be more comfortable than if I have to now stand in front of people, in front of a pulpit and all of that. Then because now all eyes are on you and you are not in a comfortable position. But if I can preach sitting down like this, I'd do it for others. I wouldn't mind.
Shit.
So, but it's the standing up that gets to me. And everyone is sitting down looking at you. That's what gets to me.
But there's this quote I got from Robert Greene. Basically, he says that familiarity soothes our fears. So I don't know, like, you always being there, doesn't it soothe your fear? But, man. You know, when you get to an environment the first time around, you have that fear.
Yeah.
And then the second time around, I still think the fear is still the same. Third time, fourth time, it gets a bit better. And then as you go on, like, fuck, man. I'm no longer nervous. But with speaking, I know, with speaking it's quite different.
You don't get used to it, trust me. Even TD Jakes will tell you to this day, it never gets comfortable.
And it must.
He's been preaching for what? Over 40 years. Even he still gets nervous.
Shit.
You know.
Entrepreneurship. Tell me about it. You have I don't know. Is it a publishing company that you have?
A publishing consultancy.
Oh, okay.
Because when you say publishing company, people have a different idea of what you mean.
Please do clarify.
Yeah.
Number one, clearly I'm thinking that you have millions.
Can't you know?
You have millions.
So, okay, so the whole entrepreneurship idea started around 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have actively start until around 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. So
hey, these guys are gonna disturb us. But yeah, let's continue, it's fine. I'm about to disturb guys. You'd have to bear with the noise at the back. They don't respect the podcast. We're not making millions here. That's why there's no respect. Yeah, you can carry on. Yeah.
So I started around. So I was working at a particular municipality, I won't mention
Ghetto stuff.
Until 2019.
All right.
And then I realized that I don't think I want to do this whole employee thing for life.
Hey, when you're so this, you always go in and then you become very skeptical. Like you go in like, okay, let me test the depth of the river, not with both feet, of course, like there's one leg and okay, no, I think I'll retract. But lovely, carry on, man. I love it.
And then I realized that the environment was very toxic there. To the point, like, literally my physical health was affected.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. And then end of 2019, then I tendered my resignation with the sole aim to now basically full-time go into business. But I was largely unprepared. So end of 2019, I resigned, whatever. Then 2020 starts. And then 2020 starts, I've got a basic plan of what I'm going to do, the products I'm going to get and all of that. Fine. Being the chronic procrastinator that I am, then I procrastinate until March hits. And then lockdown hits. And then the plan goes belly up. And and the whole world goes haywire, and it's that.
Let me refill,
But also it kind of becomes a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Because now I get a chance to now have the time to finish my book.
Okay.
Which had been chilling since 2016.
Yeah.
So that happens.
You need a refill?
No, I'm still fine.
You're still fine?
Yeah.
Okay, cool stuff.
So, yeah, then that happens, and then I get to focus now on refining, editing, doing whatever on the book. So I did the writing, editing, and proofreading myself.
Okay.
On the book, and then, but also gave it to a few trusted friends.
Yeah.
To have a look at it, because one thing about writing is that if you are the one looking at the text, you'll definitely miss mistakes.
Make no mistake.
Because you are so familiar with the script that it's easy for you to miss certain things. My common weakness is that sometimes I write things in my head and forget to put them on the paper.
It makes
like
sense.
I'll write a sentence and then miss a word, but because it's in my head, when I read it, it's there.
It's there.
But when someone else reads it, they're like, no, but you missed the word here. So that was the main motivation for me to say no. Just give it to. I gave it to about 3 friends. That then had a look at the manuscript, and also to get their initial thoughts on the book, whether am I going in the right direction or am I just wasting my time, am I rambling here, what's going on. So fine, got feedback from them, which was mostly positive feedback, with criticism here and there, had to go back to the drawing board, fix certain things here and there, and then in line with the mind of an entrepreneur, then I started getting quotes now from publishing companies and printing companies.
Okay.
The feedback wasn't to my satisfaction.
Okay.
Especially from the printing guys.
Okay.
Because at that time I didn't really have the skill to basically lay out a book. I had the manuscript, but I didn't possess the necessary skills to actually have my own layout. So I asked for prices, and they were like, I think the guy charged me about 7K for a layout. I was like, there's no way. There's definitely no way I'm paying you 7,000 rands to lay out my book. I was like, no, I'll do it myself. I was like, nope. And he was like, yeah, I'm the cheapest in the industry, whatever. Some other people charge more than this. I was like, it's fine. Went to YouTube, checked whatever. Okay, found out I can install Adobe InDesign, and then got a few videos from different perspectives on how to the easiest way to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, got about 3 videos, watched them diligently, religiously, until I could actually apply the thing, in practice. Problem with InDesign is that you have to subscribe, and it costs, I think, about 3K a year to subscribe. But there is a trial version for 14 days.
Okay.
So then that meant I had 14 days to finish the layout before the trial expires.
Runs out, yeah. Shit.
So, because when you have limited resources, you find creative ways to get what you want. Otherwise, you won't achieve anything. So then I had to look at the whole quotation. I think the initial quotation was about 11K in total, including the printing and all of that. So I was like, how do I cut costs and only focus on funding the unavoidable, which was printing. So I didn't have access to printing, so I had no choice but to pay for that. But the rest of the thing, the cover I designed myself. I just gave the guy to do cover correction because I wasn't really familiar with Photoshop. Okay. So then he had to do the cover correction for me.
Sure.
And then I did the layout myself. Within the 14 days, then I finished and then sent them the file for them to now print. We had a back and forth with the guy for, I think, close to 2 weeks. You know, telling me, no, this is not satisfactory, this and this and this, because I'd basically refused to let him like do the layout. So basically tried to make things difficult for him. But eventually we found each other. And then, so the only major cost then I kind of paid out of my pocket. Mind you, this is 2020. I'm not working. I'm unemployed. I'm not getting any kind of regular income at that point. And I have a book to publish. And there's cost implications and all of that. So initially, then I published a PDF version and sold that to fund the print version.
Okay.
So that's how I kind of then met the plan halfway to say, okay, if I can't get physical copies at the moment, what's the next best thing to do? Then I published then a PDF version, started selling that, and then when the funds were coming together, then I funded the print copy.
It's not an easy route being an author mode.
It's not. And I'm really grateful for also like family friends that came through with funds as well to say, you know, we see your vision, you know, let's assist here and there. You know, I didn't even have a laptop at that point. I was using someone's laptop to do these things, you know, install software, you know, get internet access. Because also with these software, you also need constant internet access. If you don't have internet access, you can't work on InDesign.
Okay.
You know, so that also was a factor to, you know, work around. So basically everything was a cost up until the last, you know, the first physical copy that I got. But after that, then basically then I had to push sales as well, because the book is not going to sell itself. You know,
it was a lovely experience.
Yeah,
as much as it was difficult.
Yeah, definitely. It was a learning moment for me. And then I think after that process was finished, then I was like, okay, then if I could do this for myself, then that means I can do it for others. Then that's when the idea of the publishing consultancy then was birthed, to say, okay, I ideally, so what my publishing consultancy company does is that the aim is to help the mostly township writers who want to get their stories out there, but don't either have the desire or the access to get to your big publishing companies.
Okay.
So then to help them self-publish. The difference between a publishing consultancy and a publishing company is that a publishing company, you give them the book idea and then they run with everything. They give you an advance because they already have access to your exclusive books, your bargain books, and whatever the distribution channel is there. So they know once they get your book out there, it's going to sell.
Okay.
So then they can afford to give you an advance. My company does not give advances because I don't have the advance to give you.
How do you get there?
How do you get to where?
to where the publishing company is at? Like, how do you get to have all the resources?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So with publishing companies, they have specific requirements when it comes to either novels or it's non-fiction or whatever. They have their particular requirements in terms of the number of words that they want for the book, the minimum requirement that you can write, the type of manuscripts that they want for you to submit, the idea that you present to them and all of that. If you meet that criteria, then they'll take your idea on. But if you don't meet their criteria, then that means they can't work with you. You know. So what often happens then is that with mostly first-time authors and upcoming authors is that sometimes I don't have the capacity to write a 90,000 word manuscript because my story doesn't stretch that far. But it doesn't mean that I can't publish because my story still matters.
Absolutely.
But because it doesn't meet this criteria, it doesn't mean that it can't be published. So my target is that guy that says, I want to publish a book of 20 poems, for instance. How do we get you out there without meeting the requirement, Yabo, Jonathan Ball, or the other major, what's the other one, Blackbird, the major publishing companies, whereby maybe you have to submit about 20 poems, for instance, for them to consider. Or if you are writing short stories, maybe, and all of that. So it's about making sure that your every dream is basically possible, it can be realized. It doesn't have to be necessarily the size of that billboard for us to consider. Okay. You know, it can be the size of this table, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. You know, so how do I get you to realize your dream without necessarily pressurizing you to make your dream that big when at the moment what you have to offer is this, you know. But yeah, because then some people get demoralized if, you know, you say no, but this doesn't make sense, or this is not enough, or this is not according to the audience you know, requirements or what the market needs right now, you know. So but it also, for me, it's about also equipping the young authors to say, you must own your dream. If no one else is willing to give you the chance, you give you the chance. And that means if we see your project to the end, which means that if we get you to the point where you can print a copy, or sometimes you don't even need to print that copy. Sometimes you can publish digitally. You know, there's all Kindle and Google Books and all of that, where you can just, you know, publish digitally. You don't have to necessarily, you know, get a print copy as yet. Then how do you do that? How do we get you there? And how do we give you the necessary skills to be able to market yourself and to get your book out there? So that then, if there is a need to print, then you have the necessary traction that you've built for people to say, now I need a print copy. So basically that's what my publishing consultancy does.
Sure. Hey, lovely explanation. I want to ask you something. Hey, I almost leaned back. No. Wait. I leaned back, but I didn't speak. Hence, it came back to my mind, Guti. I can lean back, but I didn't speak. Hey, it's still on, brother. It's still on me, brother. You still owe me, brother. You still owe me, brother. Hey, thank God the psychologists are not there. The mind is powerful. The moment it hits, then it clicks. No, man, no, you're not supposed to do that. Tell me, man. You believe that you were well raised or well groomed?
No, definitely.
And then for a kind of guy like you, how do you view the dating pool?
Are you sure you want me to answer that question?
Yeah, I know. I'm sure.
Do you want the short version or the long version?
Let's keep it as concise as possible. Just share your general perspective.
I think the dating pool is largely destroyed by social media.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. In the sense that we allow social media to dictate how we relate to one another in our private space, in our private relationships. And most of the expectations are largely unrealistic. Looking at the economic state of this country, the political climate, and basically the overall social construct that we find ourselves in. The expectations put upon especially men is they're unrealistic. Unrealistic because most young men that you find in our societies are unemployed. If they are, it's jobs that hardly pay above 10K. So the model for the guy who has a car, who has money, who can give you girlfriend allowance, that guy
Doesn't
is 5% of society.
Shit. Okay.
And you have 95% of the female population competing for the 5% of the male population.
Basically, it's unrealistic.
Exactly.
Oh.
Like, I call and then is my again.
Shit.
Yeah.
I remember yesterday we were speaking about it, like how, I don't know if this would be the right term. I feel like it's rigged somehow, the dating pool. I don't know. I feel like it's rigged because like we are in it for money now, for content.
Yeah.
If I'm seen at this kind of restaurant or this kind of coffee cafe, whatever it may be,
Buying
then
these kind of flowers.
buying these kind of expensive flowers. Remember the one they sent me pictures? They say it's how much? It's 2,000
Flowers are
rand.
expensive.
Hey, I okay,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
lie to you. Flowers are very
Yeah,
expensive.
Exactly.
Even
So
at Woolies where they say they are cheap.
they're
very
expensive. Are you sure which they're expensive, or is it you not willing to go an extra mile for that special person?
I don't mind going an extra mile for that special person.
Okay.
I don't mind. I just don't understand the concept of flowers. Let's just start there.
Take flowers away, like the spoiling, buying gifts, girlfriend allowance.
I do not mind that.
You don't even mind girlfriend allowance.
No, I don't.
So you
If
don't.
I love someone,
You don't believe, mind you, this is a relationship phase. You don't believe that you are paying to be in a relationship.
no, I don't. And this is my reason. I don't believe that I am paying to be in a relationship because in my conceptualizing of that, it's not a requirement, but it's an act that's coming from me, not because it's required by her that I should do it. If she requires it, then I'm paying. But if I do it out of the goodness of my heart, because I love and appreciate her, then it's not me paying to be in a relationship.
If she says to you, okay, maybe like second time meet up, she says, okay, these are the things of which you need to bring on the table.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, A, B, C, you go on. Okay. And then the girlfriend allowance is in the list. Do you feel like that's a requirement, or automatically?
I can tell you that relationship is not going anywhere. I can tell you right now.
But the relationship needs money.
Of course it needs money.
She
from
needs
both
money.
Parties.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're that type of the guy to say, meet me halfway, it's 50-50.
No, I won't say meet me halfway, it's 50-50. But I expect that when I'm in a relationship with someone, we are here, and the we is very bold here. We are here to
Capital
build
letters.
a relationship.
Yeah.
And not I am here to build our relationship.
Ooh, love it. Love it.
It's not even, we can even remove money from the table. The efforts that we bring into the relationship must be equal. In fact, must not be 50-50, 100-100.
Shit.
Yeah.
Hey, shit.
We bring 100-100 on the table, then we can start moving forward.
Why do you believe then a lot of relationships are failing?
Precisely
nowadays?
Because of that. That there's a skewed relationship between the male and the female. the concept of a relationship is that the male must make all the effort and the female must receive and not give. And when she gives, it's a favor. She's doing you a favor. And it's not because she loves you, not because she is building something with you. And I find that very, very wrong and very unrealistic. Because now, what type of marriage are you going to build with a person who is coming, there's not even a better word for this, who's coming from a selfish point of view into the relationship, expecting to only receive and never give.
So the provision is only from one side, that's from you.
Like from the man. And I have a problem even with that word provision, Jay, to begin with.
Okay.
Like the way we've made provision to be, even in the church space, like how we define provision, I think it's way out of the biblical conception of what the word provision should be. Because in societies where there was no money involved, how were men providing?
All right. Interesting. very,
yes, how
very,
were they providing?
Very interesting.
Because if we're gonna tie your identity as a man to the size of your wallet, then that means if you have a small wallet, then you're not a man at all.
It's about status.
It's a capitalistic way of viewing things and of assigning humanity to a person. Because in a capitalistic society, the value of your humanity is proportional to the size of your wallet or the size of your wealth.
It is what it is.
Yeah. If you
Are
don't
you
have
fighting
money,
against that?
Yeah, because I don't think it's sustainable.
Can you bring the entire system down like with that mindset?
Not really.
Is it worth the fight?
Yeah, definitely. It's the fight for the human. I'm fighting for the human.
Don't you believe somehow in your statement there's this thing, I don't know if that would be the right term, but cognitive dissonance?
Not necessarily, no. Because cognitive dissonance would mean that I am raised in a particular ideology.
Yes.
Then at the same time I am, like for instance, let's make an example, right? Let's take apartheid. Apartheid was largely engineered by whites who called themselves Christians.
I get you.
Right?
Lovely. I get you.
And Christianity advocates for the equality of all human beings before God.
So you believe in eggs are counted?
Yeah, exactly. They don't match.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
So cognitive dissonance would be that I believe in capitalism, but my acts don't match. I don't believe in capitalism, so my acts must match that. I don't.
What is the way forward to having a proper relationship, or rather, I don't know, man. I feel like the pool is dangerous. I'm scared of the pool, bro. Like, I'm literally scared of the pool as much as you would like someone. And initially we spoke about you like someone to a particular point, you get into that relationship saying, as much as I like them, I need to understand one thing, that it's gonna end one day. And that's not a healthy thinking.
No,
but
it's not.
It is what it is.
It's not.
And my perception is that she's not yours, it's just your turn. You see how fucked we are.
Yeah, no, that's
a
a very messed up way to look at.
Yeah, I'm a red pill, by the way. So I listen to your entertain. I listen to your I feel like for me, rather be safe than sorry.
Okay.
Because you would entirely love someone and then a woman cannot be trusted, bro. But I don't want to get into that.
I have a different perspective to that statement.
That women cannot be trusted.
No. The one you made in
So you're agreeing that they cannot be
rather
trusted. Laughing. It didn't need to confess. It didn't literally need to confess.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me qualify that statement.
Yeah.
Before I move to the one. I agree that human beings cannot be trusted.
Women. My statement was women.
I know. I've had a mixed experience.
Okay.
With like where it's a bit of both, right? I've been with women that I can trust to this day.
Okay.
And then I've been with women that we just sneaky, and I cannot trust them even if they tell me that board is white.
Even
and
if
I
it's
can
white.
see it, but I can't trust them because that's the kind of humans that they are, you know. But I can't necessarily make a blanket statement and say women cannot be trusted, because I know for a fact that there are women that can be trusted, that I have been with, you know. And so it's not a pedestrian statement that I'm making. It's something that I've had and experienced, you know. So, back to your statement of being rather be safe than
Sorry. Yes.
I think it's a sad way of engaging romantically, in the sense that then you never get to fully give of yourself.
I agree.
You never get to fully experience love.
I'd rather not fully experience. With my heart broken. I'm buzzing. But I hear your point. Yeah.
No, with love, unfortunately, your heart is gonna get broken. It's a question of when, not if. The if part is not there, because it's guaranteed that you are going to get hurt. It's a matter of when.
It's a matter of when.
Yes.
But you're expecting that.
You should.
You should.
Because real love requires you to be vulnerable and open and be out there and exposed. Unless you do that, you cannot experience or claim to have experienced real love.
Please give me your closing on the matter. We're running out of time. Please give me closing on the matter.
Yeah, so like for you to experience real love, you need to be ready to be exposed.
Would you say to people, put yourself out there,
Yes.
have more options, date as many people as you want?
That's bad advice. That is bad advice.
But what would be your message? Because there are people who are, I feel like, romantically, like, I don't know. Maybe Zangane, there's this girl who once said to me, I don't know, you're romantically hopeless when you like
Or you're
love.
hopeless romantic.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, be a hopeless romantic. Why not? But I wouldn't necessarily use the word hopeless.
Yes.
Be a hopeful romantic, rather. You know, if you get disappointed, it is what it is. Life works like that.
If you get disappointed, chow as many as you can.
I know.
Yeah,
But
chow as many as you can. I mean,
I didn't say that. No.
Chow as many as
That
you
is
can.
bad advice, kids.
So
Don't listen to Themba.
we're gonna play a game, and this game was introduced by. Did you watch the episode we released?
Which one?
Yesterday.
I didn't finish it. I
Okay,
watched
cool
it
stuff.
when I came back from club.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one. So Zipo introduced the game. I was thinking about it. Quick fire questions. Quick fire questions.
Okay.
We have 3.
All right.
Short and simple.
All right.
Let me look. Do you think therapy is important?
Yes.
Why?
You need an outlet to release your emotions. So therapy is one of those.
You're a Christian.
Yes.
If you are such a strong Christian, how come you had sex before marriage?
I don't think that has to do with strength.
Okay.
It has to do definitely with weakness.
With the weakness?
Yes.
Okay, cool stuff. Human weakness.
Exactly.
Lovely. I love you. I love you for that. What is the motto you live by? Sorry.
Live your life to the fullest. Regret nothing.
Live your life to the fullest.
Regret nothing.
Regret nothing. Okay, we're gonna try this again, and I hope we don't forget for the next guest. Yeah, actually, the community today pay the podcast much. There are no reveal. There are no reveal. I pay the podcast. What's one question you would have for the next guest? May we not forget this, guys, please. What's one question you have for the next guest?
The next guest. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Sure, I hadn't thought about that. No, but I think the one question I would have for anyone is that how do you make sure that you live your life fully and responsibly without letting anyone interfere?
Okay, cool stuff. Hopefully we don't forget. My brother, it has been nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And I have to give mad props to you for taking your time, most importantly, because time is very valuable and giving us an inch of your time. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
First time seeing you, I lovely enjoyed it. Hopefully many of these episodes are gonna come in future.
Yeah.
Because there are topics of which I was restricted to not to touch. I feel like that's a big key. There's a way. Like I mean, you lie. Yeah, you lie. Then he starts unbottling. But it has been a nice experience with this guy, Sibusiso Laz Radebe. Thank you so much once again, man.
Thank you, man.
God bless you, man. God bless you.
Thank you.
This is Talks with Kells podcast. And officially we are closing it. We are saying, Yango! Lovely, lovely, man.
Thank you for having me.
Amanyahamba Sulinyembezo ngakalema Best thing in the morning Mama ngifuna ukuyekole Ukuhlala ngibuke nje mana mangisakhone Kube ngiyasipana kube nathi asokole Best thing in the morning Mama ngifuna ukuyekole Ukuhlala ngibuke nje mana mangisakhone Kube ngiyasipana kube manje asokole Ngithi mama ngizobuya Mama ngiyofuna umsebenzi Yaza kukolula mama Sulinyembezi Ngithi mama ngizobuya Mama ngiyofuna umsebenzi Yaza kukolula Ala kahle sulinyembezi
Mama sengiyabonga ukhulisile Noma nobaba sekashiyile Ngiyahamba ngiyosibana ngisokolile Indima idlalile ekhulu sikubonile